in Tempe. Also transmitting on K257 CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And yes, we know my mic was on a few moments ago. We are so lucky I didn't say anything dirty.
Yeah, me too. I'm particularly lucky because that would have been my fault.
Well, yeah, you are really lucky on that. But everybody tried to tell us, which I'm surprised at, because kind of like when you get a call, you ever get a phone call, it's a butt dial. You ever listen more intently in your entire life than you do at that moment? You're like, okay, I got to.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm the nosiest person on earth. Absolutely.
You sit there and listen, and you push it really hard up against your ear. And you're like, what's going on there? What is happening? But no, Beer Bob texted in and said, Jeffrey, your mic is on. Even Donnie. That was surprising. You would think Donnie would just kind of sit back and go, wait to hear something.
If we got ourselves fired, who would he troll?
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. We are we're his line, aren't we?
Yeah.
Moist One says, you talking about Rob Baronis, the kicker? Rest in peace. No. We're talking. I'll explain here in a second. CK says your mom has a bet with the Raiders sweeping. Fair enough. T-Licious says happy Victory Monday, Jeffrey, Keon, and I, and I guess Randy as well. Go Niners. Yeah, not me, not my Colts. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go back to what we were talking about. So if you heard us on the mic and you heard us say, we got this bet with this guy, I can't remember the texter nickname. His name is Rob. And I feel bad because if you guys approach me in public or if I don't know you that well, or I don't know people's real names. I only know your texter nicknames. And if you don't use that as your Twitter profile or your Instagram profile, sometimes I need a moment. And I don't remember. I remember the bet where he said, okay, so the Raiders will sweep the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, he even just sent back in July, actually. Oh my God. In July, he sent, I can almost taste the pizza when the Raiders sweep Kansas City.
I remember the text coming in, but I can't remember.
And I know he's an air conditioning technician, but I just don't remember the texter nickname. But it's funny. We remember the bet though.
That part's easier to remember. In fact, to me, it was, I remember saying, I don't even want to take your pizza. That's just too easy of a bet.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Except that he insisted.
I just feel bad. I hate when I can't identify people. Or you see people in public, they're like, hey, you remember me? No, I'm sorry. It's nothing personal.
It's just that there are many names on this text line and there's not always a face associated with the name. Maybe we met you at a remote once. It's just a lot of faces to remember, a lot of people to remember. It's nothing personal.
But I think we do have a texter named Rob Moe, so I don't know. I can't find them in the thing. I don't have time for this. I'm sure this person will make themselves known eventually. But that's what that was all about. The Berg says, pain.
Pain how? Is it a fantasy football pain? Because your team won.
Is fantasy football?
Your Patriots won.
Because mine didn't. You want to hear about pain? I've got pain. You want to hear about fantasy football pain? So I'm playing the number one guy in the Premier League, right? And after all the games are done Sunday afternoon, I'm up 159 to 111 or something like that. And I'm just like, excellent. And all he has left is CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, well, got this in the bag. Because all season long, CeeDee Lamb hadn't gone above 25 points, which is pretty good. But it just, He only did 25 points one week and 20 points another week. The rest of the time, it's been below 20. So I'm like, yeah, I got a reasonable expectation, and so then even around halftime, I'm like, looking pretty good, looking pretty good. And then I fell asleep during the game and I woke up to seeing CeeDee Lamb getting a touchdown. I'm like, okay, I wonder how bad that hurt. And I looked at it. I've lost the game. He 40, what was it? 42 points, 42.6 points. Son of a biatch. Couldn't believe that.
Yeah, the out of nowhere 40 piece will get you.
I was just like all happy. I counted my chickens before they hatched. I was just sitting there like, oh, I got this in the bag. Oh, I've just beat the #1 guy in Premier League. That feels pretty good. Now I'll be a 500 team, and now I'm in the basement. I'm probably going to be the guy who gets shoved out of the Premier League at the end of this. But, well, okay. I mean, there's still a lot of season left, but it was just, that was pain.
Yeah,
you are correct.
That's got to hurt. Yeah.
And that is what he was talking about. He's like, bingo. Moist One says, got to have cool in the name, right? You would think that, being an AC guy, you would think that, but I don't think so.
Because people choose texter nicknames for all kinds of reasons. So sometimes it's related to their job, but sometimes it's just related to their hobbies or their teams. There's no way to know. There's no way.
Fifth letter says, afternoon, fellas. My team sucks again, but I did turn $20 into $279. Fifth letter is that you're a Raider guy? Is that it?
Fifth letter.
You have to be more specific. But
I
I'm
think
guessing
fifth letter is a Raider guy. Yeah.
Well, here's his bet. It was a 4-pick parlay at originally plus 865, but it looks like he got a boost or something to plus 1299. $20 wager got him $279. He had over 14 and a half Tony Pollard rushing attempts, and he got that versus the Lions. Then he had Tyreek Hill receptions over 5.5. Then he had 2 picks. Is that SGP or 5GP? I don't know what that means. 2 picks SGP, but
same game parlay.
Oh, okay. 2 picks over 1.5. Patrick Mahomes passing touchdowns, and then over 7.5 total first quarter. And he got it. He won the whole damn thing. Nicely done.
Good for you, man.
Donnie says, Jeffrey, let's put a Kasai gift card on the line for Sunday's big game. No, I have no faith in the Colts. What are you not getting?
I just don't
Why
understand.
would I bet when I don't believe? I bet. I picked against them this week.
Here's credit,
and I was right.
Here's credit I'll give to Donnie. Donnie can't imagine a world where he doesn't believe in his team, even when they've given him no reason to believe in them. So he can't understand what it's like to have a team you don't believe in. We get it for whatever reason. Maybe he's just a better fan than we are. I have no idea. But for whatever reason,
Donnie is exactly what he accuses every Suns fan, Cardinals fan, every fan of Arizona sports. He is that guy. That's why he thinks that we say that. He's like, you guys are saying it. We never said that. Yeah. He just assumed that we did. Donnie, you've got a problem. You might want to seek help. 888-368-1580. It's National Chocolate Day, by the way. Ooh. I mean, wouldn't that have made more sense on Halloween?
Yeah, you're a little early. National Chocolate Day. You're a little early.
All right, we don't have time for this. Last week, we almost didn't get it all done, and I don't want to have that happen again.
We had 3 hours last week.
So we're starting with the games now. We're not waiting. We're not going to wait until the end. So, Donnie, your text that you're talking about, we're going to talk about at the end if we have time. So I'll just save your text and come back around to it. All right. So, I could not believe my eyes. Couldn't believe it that the Cardinals beat the Dolphins 28-27. Last second field goal is what got it done. The fact that they hung in there and played well. I mean, just the whole thing was a bit surprising. I am not surprised that Tua looked fine. I mean, did he have problems?
Not really.
Yeah, he was 28 for 38, 234 yards and 1 touchdown. The defense for the Cardinals did actually step up, and they contained Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle didn't do that much better. Actually, he did worse. Tyreek Hill was 6 catches for 72 yards. Jalen Waddle was 4 receptions for 45 yards. And now all of a sudden they're like, hey, the Cardinals are number one in the NFC West. And I stand by my original assessment on Twitter. The NFC West is booty. If a 4-4 team is number one in that division, your division stanks.
Especially if you look at all the other divisions,
Mm-hmm.
you got 6-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-0, 6-2, 6-1, 5-3,
Mm-hmm.
4-4.
So the NFC West is booty. That was my tweet, and I stand by it. But otherwise, I was surprised. I'll be honest, because they had Tua, and he was unrestricted. But yeah, got to give credit where credit is due. The Cardinals defense did well. Kyler Murray did well. Kyler Murray was 26 of 36 for 370 yards and 2 touchdowns, threw no interceptions at all. So, I mean,
he just first off, that connection with Marvin Harrison Jr. is finally starting.
Yes, you're starting to see that click in, aren't you?
Yeah, so that's good. But then also, like, that fourth quarter, he just didn't let them lose. Anytime there was a play to be made, Kyler Murray made it. I also want to give some credit to the defense because they were getting torched in that first quarter. Like, everything the Dolphins did and wanted to do worked.
Well, the entire team seemed to come together later in the game. I mean, even Marvin Harrison Jr., he didn't have much going on for, I think, the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a catch or two. It was later that things really kicked in, but Trey McBride was money for him. 9 catches, 124 yards. And can I just say, it's kind of bullcrap that they just pick a generic day that's something that George Kittle made up. Hey, it's National Tight Ends Day. So all the tight ends suddenly kicked ass yesterday.
Just for no reason at all. And I don't know why. I don't know.
I'm annoyed by that.
It is annoying.
And even though that benefited me because I played 2 tight ends. I played Pitt and I played Cade Otton.
Oh.
And big money. Part of why I thought I was going to get that damn win.
Yeah.
But I've got a whole thing about talking about the National Tight Ends Day tomorrow. I see. Now, Donnie actually had a bet on tight ends. He had George Kittle and Travis Kelce in there with anytime touchdowns, but he also added Dalton Kincaid. That was brave.
Yeah.
But he put in $25. He got $437.
How about that?
Nice bet, Donnie. Now shut up and go away. All right. So the Cardinals beat the Dolphins. I'm sorry. I mean, if you got any comments on that, I got nothing but wow. I'm surprised. I don't think this means the Cardinals are, they're going to be a playoff team. Oh boy, they're going to be great. No, it's just still.
The door's still not closed, but it's not a sudden change or anything. It's just the Cardinals team being pretty much what we thought they were going to be, like an average football team this year. They were going to win roughly as many games as they lost. I think,
and it makes sense. Doesn't it make sense they beat the Dolphins because Tua just got back? Of course, he might be a little rusty, but I don't know. Does it make sense? I just feel like it kind of maybe
it kind of makes sense. Yeah. In regards to like this offense is not the version of this offense that they would probably be had to have been playing the entire time, but you can take the test in front of you. That's what you got to do. The Cardinals got a Dolphins team that was a little banged up. And whenever you get a team that's a little banged up, like the Cardinals have shown, at least they'll feast on that. If you are injured, they'll beat you. And the Dolphins weren't quite 100%, and the Cardinals beat them.
Well, good for you, Cardinals, and I'm happy for Randy. I'm happy for my wife, but let's move on to me being happy for you. I was sitting there watching this game and just couldn't believe my eyes at the end. This Hail Mary pass. I mean, that was an impressive throw all by itself. What did they say it was? 67 yards?
Yeah, 67 air yards. Yeah.
All right. So that thing went 67 yards in the air. And of course, it was just luck. At the end, it was just dumb luck the way that worked out. Of course, Tyreek Stevenson, it didn't really hurt the play, but it didn't look good. Tyreek Stevenson was over there at about the 3-yard line over off the side, yelling at some Washington fans, just like sitting there taunting them and doing whatever. And you see the pictures. So here he is. Here he is right here on this one. He's like, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, nanny boo-boo. And then all of a sudden you see all the players run. He's still got his back to the play.
Yeah, and the video is so much worse. If
Such
you
a bad
if you
look.
Find the video. It's so much worse because the play is 3 seconds in, and he still hasn't turned around to see who's coming his way. And the player that tipped it up was him. He comes back across and gets in there at the last second, and you want to hit that down, obviously, but he got there late, so he ends up tipping it up instead. And look, the Commanders did what they were supposed to do. Jaden throws it to
They
to
had a
Zach
guy
Ertz.
back there.
They had a guy in front and they had a guy behind.
Well
And
done.
Noah Brown, right where he was supposed to be. Ball just lands in his hands, and that's ball game. And I'm still speechless and stunned. Like I don't know what to say because this is not the kind of thing that has ever happened to this team in the course of my life.
I'm sitting there and I'm not very emotive when I watch games, when I watch my own sports. And but there, I didn't jump up and cheer like I did for the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series. But I did make quite the loud noise because that was just unbelievable. It was such an unbelievable play. So you know how we always say nobody actually LOLs. Well, I did shout out.
I did too. I was screaming. I'm not going to lie to you. And I can't remember the last time I was screaming for this team for good reasons.
Right. Usually it's a son of a.
Yeah, and it's usually my remote is going through my TV is what's going on there.
So not a good look for Tyreek Stevenson or for the Bears. Of course, the Bears players, they're like, yeah, we're going to have a conversation. The leadership is going to have a conversation. This guy is going to probably get pink bellied or something.
Something. And then, of course, the other aspect of it where, you know, they were saying before the game, they were doing a little bit of trash talk about the stadium and the fans. And look, FedEx Field isn't great, but don't give bulletin board material. Just don't do it.
Yeah, you can say what you want about the diarrhea coming out of pipes, but you can't say nothing about the fans because these people have been through it, like Keon. You are a good example. You've been through it.
Yeah.
Hamilton Porter says, sure, the Bears thing is funny, but how about your quarterback? Okay. How about your quarterback sitting down in the third quarter, Jeffrey, because he was tired? Say, I've already said this guy's a bust, and I've been told he's not a bust.
That is a nail in the coffin quote to me.
Yeah.
That is because it's one thing if you're just not learning it fast enough. Like we can be patient and try and figure out ways for you to get it. Effort, I can't coach effort for you. Can't do it.
Oh, I have never in my entire life seen somebody in the thick of things on third.
Jeffrey, you're breaking up a lot. If I'm just going to be.
What the hell? What are you? Thing. I mean, I say generation. How you have Generation Z and whatever. Is this that? Are we seriously going to be like, hey, I'm due for my 15-minute break? Well, but you were in the middle of something. Nope, got to take my break. Is that the mentality? And if he's really just overly tired for having run the ball a couple times, again, why are you running the ball? And then also, what the hell? Did you not work on cardio? Well, how is this?
How is that possible? I've never heard that before. I don't think it's a Gen Z thing. And I think it's possible that we have lost Jeffrey here. So I'll go ahead and pick up the conversation where he left off, and we're up against the break anyway. Let's see if we can.
I don't know what happened there.
Oh, there you are. You're back. Yeah.
Oh,
you just cut out there for a while. Your audio.
I think you got the idea. The idea was, what the hell, Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
And I think he's a bust.
To answer your question, I don't think it's a Gen Z thing because there are quarterbacks that are in the league in this current draft, guys that are newer than Richardson, that aren't having these problems. I mean, obviously you could talk about Jaden Daniels, but Caleb Williams has been really good, putting in the effort, trying to win over the locker room. Drake May has been very surprisingly good for how raw everybody said he was coming out of North Carolina. You know, the Patriots have been able to rely on him. He got knocked out of that game Sunday, but you know, it wasn't I was winded comment. It was he just genuinely got knocked out of that game.
So here's the deal. Yes, I've been saying for a while, I think Anthony Richardson's a bust. And you've been saying, no, come on. Can't say that yet. Yeah. You can't say that yet. Can I say it now?
I think you can say it now because Thank you. For me, when it comes to a lot of things that you're trying to coach to a player And you've got to know, where is this player coming in from? What is the level that they're at, and what level are we trying to get them to? And Anthony Richardson came in with a lot of weaknesses and a lot of things that he needed to have coached up. So I was like, all right, you got to be patient with the guy. But I can't imagine a coach being like, well, if my quarterback won't try, there's nothing else is coachable, because you can't coach effort. I can't coach want to. Is anything, every coach will tell you that.
Pat McAfee saw the same thing, but he lets him off the hook. First, he's like, I've never seen an NFL quarterback tap out while still being healthy until watching Anthony Richardson. Quarterback is your franchise. The message that it sends is loud and influential. So then right after that, Anthony Richardson comes out right after that, and he throws a touchdown. And then he comes back and says, team official said he was out of breath. He would return the next series and lead the Colts to a touchdown. That's AR football, baby. Like, that's a good thing. Still, no, not a good thing.
No, that's objectively a bad thing.
He was having a really bad day early on. He was 2 of 15 for passing at one point, and only completion he had was a long touchdown pass to Josh Downs. So he's feast or famine, but we can't be consistent on the feast. He's more consistent on feast than he is. I'm sorry, on famine than he is feast. Point is, he's a bust, and I'm done. And here's the other part of this. So he's like, they asked the coach, like, hey, so what did he say? He says, well, he just says he needed a break. And then they says, who's your starting quarterback? He says, we'll let you know.
Well, yeah, that's disappointing.
He says, we are evaluating everything right now. So Flacco is probably going to start next week if Shane Steichen has a spine.
Or the actual influence in the building, because if Irsay wants Richardson to start, then
I don't think Irsay will after that. I think everybody's going to come together and be like, all right, somebody's getting fired, but we're not going to go. We're done with it.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody else can work on the project.
It's one thing to have a guy who is slow getting the NFL game or getting to NFL speed. It's a big adjustment from college, and Anthony Richardson just didn't have that much experience in college. He only really played the 1 year, and he, like I said, incredibly raw. Like, I wish he had stayed in college a little longer, but you're going to come out.
Me too now.
But if you're going to come out and go out there, you have to give 100% effort. There are guys in that locker room who are depending on you to be the leader of the team. I don't even know what to make of that. I don't think I've ever heard that a day in my life. Guy is healthy, not a thing wrong with him. He's too tired. I've just never heard that before. That's new.
Well, I think we should send him home to rest, because we're tired of him blowing it. All right, listen, CK says it's National Tight Ends Day, so fourth Sunday in October. Don't be a killjoy, Jeffrey.
But why?
What they could have been doing this all year. Why now?
Just Kelsey goes crazy.
All of a sudden, Kelsey exists again.
Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews. They all had a good day yesterday.
Right. You're just I got a whole rundown on this, and it's funny because the perception of how they all did it is different between the sports writers and the fantasy football, which is our reality. Like I said, we will talk about National Tight End Day at the end if we get there. We got a Monday Night Football at 4:30. We have just this much time to talk about all the other games that happened yesterday. Okay, so let's come back and do it. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. This update brought to you by Sport Trade. Download the Sport Trade app and use code VSIN to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Major League Baseball tonight, Dodgers and Yankees. It is game 3. Dodgers up 2-0. They'll send Walker Buehler to the bump while the Yankees countering with Clark Schmidt. Yankees minus a run and a half plus 135 on the run line. The Dodgers getting a run and a half minus 160. On the money line, Los Angeles plus 125. The Yankees minus 150 with the over-under run total at 8.5. The over minus 115 and the under minus 105. NFL Monday Night Football, Steelers hosting the Giants. Pittsburgh, a 6-point favorite, over under 36.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert. 4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
It's Dave Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, talking about all the NFL games that happened yesterday. Getting you ready for Monday Night Football coming up here at 4:30. Got the Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because Jesus loves you.
You got a funny way of showing it with a game like this. This is
No, what I mean is he's there for you, for your pain.
Oh,
that's all
yeah,
I'm saying.
that's
Anyway, so the Kyle G says Browns are suckers for bad quarterback trades. Colts should see what they can fleece them clowns for. I'm not against this, but they got a guy, Jameis Winston. He had a great day, throwing for 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nobody had him in fantasy football. I about guarantee you that.
I know
you might want to think that.
Isn't it weird? We've had a really great Jameis game and a really great Mariota game in 2024.
Yeah, that's that is bizarre.
Of all the 2 quarterbacks that I thought, oh yeah, no, both of these guys absolutely washed out. You think it's fair to say Jameis, Marcus?
Yeah.
Not what they were advertised to be, and apparently they're back.
What we forget is that they continue to practice even when they're not playing. So maybe just being on the backup duty and being in practice all the time, maybe it's made a difference. I don't know. Jameis Winston played well. I just can't believe that's a sentence I'm saying in 2024, but
me neither.
Yeah, 27 of 41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the biggest surprise on the stat sheet, no interceptions. Wow.
That's
So Deshaun Watson, I don't know where he's going next, but you would think the Browns are going to try to get rid of him. The thing is, he's so bad now. Who's going to want him? They may just end up eating that contract.
I think they have to, because I'm going to try and pull up the contract numbers here to get the specifics.
Serves them right
of what's left. Oh, absolutely. But they guaranteed the whole thing. Nobody wants that contract. Just
Hamilton Porter says, in what world are we living in that Jameis balls out and gives max effort and a newbie is gassed? Yes, right. Yeah. So glad that's my quarterback.
Oh.
Fifth letter says, send Anthony Richardson to Vegas. We can't get any worse at that quarterback position. Hey, if they want him, they can have him too. I don't even care. It's in the conference. I mean, who cares?
Anthony Richardson is 22 years old. If you're the Raiders, you might as well.
Go for it.
Just scratch.
Pink Eye says, breaking news, Anthony Richardson is taking a 30-minute break. Baker's Cocky Hens. We're going to talk about that later. So let me get back to you on that. Anyway, so Jameis Winston gets it done. And this is even more surprising. They beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
29-24. Nobody could have picked that.
Yeah, I know I didn't.
Let me go back here. Let me, I might do this during a break because this could take me a little longer than I want. I'm just going to go back to our picks contest and see if anybody actually picked this correctly. You know what? No, we're doing it. I got to find out. I got to know. Here it is. All right. So let's see. Wow. The guy who's in first place this week, Lasapalooza, actually did pick Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Choro picked the Cleveland Browns. Golden Nugget 49. Harry Soap. I mean, seriously, we're counting this on one hand. Patrick 99 and Brewer Girl. That's it. Everyone else picked the Ravens. How did you know? You couldn't have known.
It's just I'm guessing it's just
how high were you when you made these picks?
One of those. The Ravens have had some nightmarish games against the Browns. It just seemed like the way they were playing this year, it wasn't going to be the case. And I suppose that if you just believed that they were going to have one of those House of Horror type games against the Browns that happens to them every now and then, maybe that's the reason, because that's the only reason I could think of.
Well, it's funny because the next game, I'm looking at the picks. I'm going to shut this off, but let's see. Out of all the hundreds of plus people, only 1, 2, 3 people got it wrong. Detroit Lions beating the Titans. 3 people, and I'm going to name them. Biscuits and Gravy picked the Titans, and whoever CTS Doc 00 is, they picked the Titans.
Oh boy!
And then who is the other person?
You got to know better than
Rivers' other baby mama. That's who picked the Titans. Wow, that's worse. But yeah, the Lions just completely did as you would think they would do, beating the Titans pretty badly. Aren't they right now? If we were to end the season today, I think they are the first overall pick in the 2025 draft.
Yeah.
Probably needs a quarterback, right?
I would.
Or they got a rookie injured? What do they have? Mason Rudolph? Who's supposed to be there? Will Levis. That's right.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
He's hurt. It's them, the Panthers. That's the other team that could probably wind up with the with the top pick in the draft as well. Yeah, Will Levis is hurt. Mason Rudolph is playing better than Will Levis did, which means that you could probably make an improvement there.
You still need help. So yeah, 52-14. The Lions just goes in there and pads their stats. That's basically what that is.
Yeah.
Then
for
the next
Jared Goff, did you see he's got 3 touchdowns, but it's just 85 yards. Like he just didn't have to throw the ball that day.
No, 12 of 15 and 3 touchdowns. It's just when he needed to throw the ball, he threw the ball. The rest of the time, Jahmyr Gibbs was busy. 11 rushes for 127 yards. David Montgomery, he had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown play. So yeah, I mean, if you don't need to, why would you? I mean, the Chiefs did that last week. Remember, they just ran the hell out of the ball, 17 plays in a row without passing. So, if you don't need to, keep it going. Keep it going. So then over here, where was this game? I can't remember where it was. Was this in Jaguar Town or was this in Green Bay? But the Packers, they actually took a little work to defeat the Jaguars, 30-27.
It was in Jacksonville.
Malik Willis.
Granted, Malik Willis on like 5 pass attempts, but Malik Willis.
Yeah, because Jordan Love was there most of the game, and then he goes down, I guess,
with the groin injury.
What was his thing? It
was a groin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were supposed to MRI his groin.
Yeah.
Can you just stick it in there? Oh, no, that's not what the groin is. The groin is part of like your thigh, so you got to stick your body in there. You can't just stand there.
Is it okay? Are we
just me? Excuse me while I whip this out. I really didn't pay much attention to this game, and I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, when Jordan Love went down, what was the score? I mean, were they up, or was this just a back and forth contest?
I would have to go back and check. I think it was kind of back and forth, but I don't know what the score was when Love exited the game.
I mean, because it looks like it took a field goal to win.
It did. I thought that this is another game that just kind of defines what the Jaguars are. They are talented enough to compete with anybody, but they're not actually good enough to finish out the game and win them. So that's how you wind up being a 2-6 team, even though you had every advantage in your own house. Just could not run the football, couldn't get pressure on the quarterback. this team is sorry. And I don't know how every week Khan keeps coming out and saying everybody's fine. I believe in this team. I believe in this coach. How? What have you seen that the rest of us have not seen?
Well, here's the thing. They must have had a bye because they're only 2-5. Wait, that's 7. No, this is week 7. No, yeah, they're 2-5. Was this week 7 or week 8?
It's week 8.
Oh, well, in that case, they must have had a bye then because they're 2-5. According to this.
Okay.
Of course, this could be wrong.
The CBS Sports says 2-6. So
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with them. Whatever works. So, wow, good for you, Berg. Good for you, Berg. I mean, I know you were feeling my pain in fantasy football, but Ramondre Stevenson getting that touchdown at the end there gives the Patriots a 25-22 win. Yeah, that was unwatchable. Did you watch it?
It was genuinely bad football. I did not watch most of this game. and I watch almost all of them every week. I didn't watch this one. Like, I was watching Aaron Rodgers just overthrow everybody for that first half, and I was like, I'm good here. I actually think I'm all right. I don't have to dig much deeper than this. I've seen enough.
So now Aaron Rodgers has lost 5 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
This has been 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, okay, he's probably should just go away now. He needs to retire. You know what he's doing? He's cashing a check.
Yeah.
It feels like all he's doing is cashing a check, and he's just going to make whatever comments, statements, do whatever. He's just milking the cow as much as he can before he's gone.
He's got a lot of pride. So I think that he's not just mailing it in. Like, I see him giving effort out there, but it's not any good. Like he just isn't as accurate as he used to be. And the other part is that, like, you have all of these great receivers, but you still can't run the football. So no team is respecting them at all in the run game. And it's just the windows are smaller to throw the football into, despite the fact that you've got all of this elite talent all over the place.
Well, it feels to me like he wants to blame everyone in the world for everything that goes wrong except for himself. And then Devontae Adams is like, hey, I'll come down there. We'll get this thing going. And he shows up. He looks around. He's like, yeah, the culture here is bad. Everybody's attitudes here are bad. And, so I think it all does start with Aaron Rodgers. I really do believe he's not serious. He's not serious. He's not.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, and I think this kind of started once he got to New York. Aaron Rodgers used to be a guy where winning a Super Bowl was his top priority. Clearly, he didn't do it as often as he'd like, but that was clearly his top priority. Since he's been in New York, that team, and he's helped it, has become a circus. And their priority, no matter what they say, isn't winning a Super Bowl, at least not his.
So for the Patriots, this is interesting. So after getting called soft, now all of a sudden they beat the Jets. Of course, then it's the Jets who've lost 5 in a row. I mean, how are we supposed to feel about the Patriots? Pretty much the same as we did last week, right? I mean, I don't feel like this exonerates anybody.
They're not a better team, but they did play with more effort and physicality this week. So, I mean, as far as building the culture goes, that's what Mayo wanted. That's the response he wanted to see, and he got it.
Probably not the right way around it, but it did have the effect. It's just I don't think that's making him any friends. You know what I mean?
I don't think so either. But I don't know
any more respect.
I don't know what happens in that locker room between the Sundays.
Yeah, sure.
If he's more of a player's coach during practice, then you can kind of blast your team to the media a little bit, knowing that those guys know who you really are and what you really think about them. But you gotta be able to walk the line. We'll see if he's able to do it. Not a bad start, I guess.
I don't know if I'm saying this name right, but Devon Godchaux, is that his name?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'll be honest.
Devon Godchaux. That's what we're gonna call him. Like nunchucks, but with God. He's got Godchucks. Anyway, he was talking to reporters, and who he is? Well, he's he's a defensive lineman for the Patriots, and he says Hall of Fame quarterback. He says, I hate to see him go out this way. Definitely does not look the same. He kept moving back there. Bleep, I could run him down and catch him. He doesn't look mobile at all.
Oh, man.
So this is a guy who should know. This is a guy who's used to working at getting after the guy. And he just says, yeah, he's not the same. He's not the same guy. Oh, Godshaw.
That
makes sense.
Yeah.
Godshaw.
AUX. Yeah.
I like Godchucks. Godchucks. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Godchucks. Anyway, so people are noticing that as much as Aaron Rodgers makes the "Go, what are you doing?" face, he's not bringing
He's
it.
the person to blame here for everything almost. I mean, it depends on what you think about Robert Saleh, and if you believe that Aaron Rodgers didn't get him fired. I don't believe that. It depends on what you believe about. I believe he got him fired too. But Aaron says he didn't. If you believe him, sure. I don't believe Aaron. I think that he did get Saleh fired. And I do think that the organization bent over backwards to bring his boy Devontae Adams in instead of getting, I don't know, a guard or a tackle or somebody to come help bolster this awful offensive line so that Breece Hall can finally get to beyond the line of scrimmage before a person first hits him. Everything about this team that is bad is his fault.
Ringless Joe says Rodgers and the Jets are god awful. That's right. Sir Drives a Lot says I lost in League 2 because I played Love instead of Cousins. Oof. Yeah, but who knew, man?
How could you tell?
Who knew?
Cousins was coming off of a week where he looked like butt, if we're going to be honest, and then Jordan Love was playing well and then got hurt. What do you do?
Yeah, that's not on you, but we will talk about the Falcons-Bucks game here in a second. Walter Mellon says they should let Aaron Rodgers play on mushrooms because, can't get any worse. Pink Eye says, will you guys be talking about one of the best World Series of all time? When it happens, yes, but this is not that. So no. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
You may know me as Ruben Gallego, but I've had a lot of titles over the years. First, son, or mijo, by my single immigrant mom who worked so hard to make ends meet, and brother by my 3 incredible sisters. I've been called janitor, line cook, construction worker, doing any job I could to help out since we didn't have much. I earned the title graduate from Harvard University. I was called infantryman in the Marines when my company took some of the heaviest losses in Iraq. I'm called congressman, proudly representing Arizona the past 10 years. But my favorite title of all is dad to my 2 beautiful kids whose future I'm fighting for every day. That's why today, my title is candidate for Senate. I'm fighting to lower costs and secure our border. I'm Ruben Gallego, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message because for me, it's never been about titles. It's about standing up for hardworking Arizonans like you.
Paid for by Gallego for Arizona.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
We know how it goes. You can't always tune in and hear your favorite shows and hosts.
Dude, look, I'm a loser. Okay?
It's cool, bro. That's why we post podcasts of your favorite shows and hosts. Listen when you want to. Listen on demand.
That is great and frankly kind of amazing.
Go to 1580thefanatic.com to download.
Hey, Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Oh, old man is on the text line. Says, well, the weather today is nice. The rest of the week is going to be in the 70s. And that's your old man weather report. Well, usually we have Randy White do that, but since he's not here today, we'll let you do that. And he says, yeah, it's, well, no, that's the weather report for West Virginia. I said they would, and the Arizona Cardinals got the win, so it means it's going to be another 7 or 9 win season where we don't get a good draft pick and we're stuck with Kyler Murray. God damn it.
I mean, to me,
he's not wrong.
You can get a good draft pick with a 7 or 9 win team. You're just in the middle of the first round now.
Well, not a quarterback.
Well, not a quarterback, but okay. That's fine. You want to feel like you want to improve from year to year. You can't go be a three win football team and then repeat that and expect everybody to be okay. They have to win more games this year, and they already have by one, but still.
But nothing is going to change as long as Kyler Murray's quarterback. That is my prediction.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my brother about this yesterday, and we kind of came to the conclusion that Kyler Murray is so inconsistent that he averages out to be an average quarterback. Because you have games like yesterday where he just refuses to lose, and he doesn't look like he can be stopped. And then you've got games like the Packer game where, what was that? That was like one of the worst performances of the year from any quarterback, much less him. So I don't know. It's just, he's so up and down. The highs are so high. The lows are so low. He kind of just averages out to be like an average quarterback.
I think just, whatever he is or isn't, Keon, this team is never going to be more than it's been until he's gone.
Yeah, they need more consistent quarterback play. I agree with that 100%.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, I've completely given up on my Dallas Cowboys. I don't think deliver no winning was Super Bowl in my lifetime. We're terrible. Jerry should sell the team and fire the coaches. Okay. First one will never happen. Second, that might happen. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Ringless Joe says, hey, I think week 8 was amazing. Bears lose, Vikings lose. I just needed the Jaguars to win to make it perfect. Random Texter says, Jeffrey, your old man voice resembles the Santa Claus in those old claymation shows. Like Santa Claus is coming to town and a year without Santa Claus. All right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't quite settled on an old man voice for old man yet. So I'll work on it. Hey, Big George. Very happy your Arizona Cardinals are in first place and all that. And he says, where are all the San Francisco 49er and Seattle Seahawk fans today? He says, the Red Sea is on top with 4-4. Shut up.
Listen, it's better.
Your division is garbage.
It's better than what people gave that team a chance at being. So if you're going to be a Cardinals fan and happy about it while it lasts, I can't really blame you.
I mean, I get being happy, but let's be realistic. Well, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in the days to come. Let's get back to talking about all the different games that happened yesterday. We're at Falcons and Bucks. And you got a good Kirk Cousins game. 4 touchdowns. 2 to Kyle Pitts, which helped me out in fantasy football. He was 23 of 29 for 276 yards. He threw a couple of touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Excuse me. So nice offensive day for the Falcons. The Buccaneers, got to be honest, they did better than you think they would. They did better than you think they would, having no wide receivers with working feet at the moment. So Cade Otton was a big part of that, which helped me out in fantasy football. But Baker Mayfield with less than in the wide receiver department went 37 of 50 for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yes, he did throw 2 interceptions, but hey, that was pretty impressive if we're honest.
Yeah, they leaned on the run game. They did what Baker does well, which is they went off of play action, and then they let him lean on Cade Otton. you don't have a whole lot going at wide receiver. And he helped out, and obviously Raheem Jarrett stepped up, and I think that there's something maybe brewing there with him and Baker, where clearly they've done a good enough job of getting deeper as a unit. But I still think, trade deadline next Tuesday, I hope the Bucs make a move, because I just think that this team's good enough to just be a fun playoff team.
For as long as Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are not there, I'm going to play Kate Otten in the flex, because I got Kyle Pitts too.
Embarrassment of riches at tight end, which is hard to come by this year.
Did me no good when top ramen St. Brown was booty for the Saints. Oh my God. That was horrible for me. Moving on. I'm thinking for the Detroit Lions. Anyway, so let's move on to another game. Eagles versus Bengals ended just about as well as you would think it would. I mean, the Eagles are not always a sure thing.
I actually didn't pick the Eagles this week.
I did.
I just don't trust this team week to week. I should have, because the Bengals secondary is not good, is putting it nicely. But I did think that, the Eagles are up and down. This offense never seems to figure out how to consistently get into gear. They did this week, though. 100-yard Saquon game. That'll pretty much do it.
Well, not just the 100-yard Saquon game. The Eagles got 3 touchdowns from Jalen Hurts on the ground.
Yeah, but it seems like whenever they run the ball well with Saquon, there's more room for Jalen to do things. Whereas if Jalen is the only guy that's really going on the ground, then, is he going to find the end zone if teams are keying in on him? I thought that Saquon carried a lot of the load getting to the red zone. And then once you're in the red zone, well, that's good night. I don't know how you stop Jalen Hurts.
So, by the way, that is the same bull crap that I had to put up with when I had Alvin Kamara in fantasy. He would run you all the way down to the 5-yard line, and then all of a sudden they'd give it to Taysom Hill. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm sure anybody who has Saquon Barkley felt the same way about Jalen Hurts, because Saquon Barkley, he didn't have a touchdown, did he?
No.
That ain't right.
When
give the man the ball.
When DeAndre Swift was an Eagle, they used to apologize to him in the red zone. Like they'd get all the way up the field, and then they'd go to DeAndre, hey, look, man, thanks, but Jalen could take this one in, and we know it's going into the end zone. So he just got
nobody wants to be a running back for the Eagles.
No, it's awful.
Your stat line goes down, and then your contracts are garbage.
Your rushing yards are great. The touchdowns, no, not so much.
Man, Fish Tank says after that Dolphins loss, the season is over. We've only managed to beat the Jaguars and the Patriots. So I guess we're just going to go and get ourselves a top 5 pick. I don't know if I'd go there yet. I don't know if I go there just yet. Fish Tank.
At 2 and
Maybe.
6, you're on pace, because you're at 2 and 6. That puts you with the Raiders.
Dolphins are 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was very much a must-win game for them as far as.
No, you're right, Fish Tank. Go ahead.
Sorry, 2 and 5. 2 and 5. They
Start fantasizing about the draft, Fish Tank. I'm sorry.
That is a 2-win football team.
Moving on. So here's something that hurt me in fantasy football. Ladd McConkey. Ever heard of him before?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
He's a rookie. He played at Georgia. Yes, I have heard of
you
Ladd
have, because you watch college football. No one else has. I never heard of this guy.
He was I believe he was their first round pick.
Was he?
Yes.
I don't remember him. I don't even remember seeing him in the draft. Ladd McConkey. The hell kind of name is anyway? 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. And okay, wait a second. So he plays for the Chargers. So Harbaugh decides, all right, Herbert, go ahead and throw the ball, but only to this guy. What the hell? Where did that even come from?
I don't think that was the plan. I think what ended up happening was the Saints defense and the secondary just didn't have the discipline to keep McConkey in front of them. He's a speedster. That's what they drafted him to be. And, Harbaugh wants to run the football, run. But the thing is, once you set up that run, when you go play action, there's nobody back there. And those were some strikes. And Justin Herbert, insanely accurate on those deep balls. And that connection is a nice good one. So McConkey was just open all day. So yeah, you got to throw it to him.
Well, the Aints are now 6 straight losses. 6 straight losses. And
It's 2-0, and then they just haven't won a game since. It's been embarrassing.
I don't even.
But part of it is, I mean, Derek Carr. He's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he'd do more for you than Spencer Rattler, who is having a time out there as a rookie trying to figure things out.
You know what, though? It's good for him. It is good for him because 12 of 24, 156 yards. And, then they took him out, didn't they? And they put in another guy.
Yeah, they went with Jake Haener.
Never mind. I have nothing nice.
This is his second year in the league. So it's just a couple of young guys, and they're trying to figure out which guy might be somebody we can keep to work on in the future.
You will have to wonder if Jim Jerkface Harbaugh has decided, well, maybe we should let the kid throw now and then. Maybe now we'll kind of balance things out. Maybe that'll help us win. Well, it helps you win over the Saints, but that ain't saying much. Let's see. Lad got me, says Sir Drives a Lot. Oh, man. Yeah, see. I got by Lad and also by CeeDee Lamb. What a game he had. Ringless Joe says Lions on their first 6-1 start since 1956. Yeah, man, looking good. They're not perfect. You see some stuff that does need work, but yeah, you got to be pretty happy as a Lions fan right now. Old man says Carr's not a great quarterback. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm not giving you any news you don't know, but the gap between Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler / Jake Haener is a canyon. They're not good enough.
Big George says, my question is this: how the hell did the Baltimore Ravens lose to the Cleveland Browns? Goes to show you that the pervert, Deshaun Watson, was really keeping that team down. Yeah, and that's where we liked it. That's what we wanted. I mean, I wanted him broken in half by a lineman or something, but that didn't happen. I guess we can't always get what we want. Fecal Miss says, Jeffrey, I know your pain with Saquon. He not only cost me in fantasy, but he also cost me an 8-leg wager for $800. You had him with a touchdown? Man, you might want to rethink that next time with Jalen Hurts around. All right, guys, we are almost through talking about all the games. We'll see if we get there by 4:30 when Monday Night Football happens. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Radical Ruben Gallego can't be trusted. Gallego's inflation-causing policies have made it impossible for Arizona's families to get by.
Gallego's one of the most far-left people in Congress. He's voted with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris 100% of the time.
Even worse, Gallego is an open borders Democrat who voted to allow illegal immigrants to vote in our elections. Radical Ruben Gallego is just too far left for Arizona. Carrie Lake is running for U.S. Senate to be a voice for all Arizonans. She's endorsed by both President Donald Trump and Governor Doug Ducey.
With Carrie fighting for Arizona in the Senate, we will make America great again.
Carrie Lake will fight to lower costs for Arizona's families, eliminate taxes on tips and Social Security, and will secure our southern border. The choice is clear. Vote Carrie Lake for Senate.
I'm Carrie Lake, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Carrie Lake for Senate.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese sauce. Bacon. And the second bite is like fresh American cheese sauce. Bacon. You get the idea. And now, get yours with $1 any size soft drink. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on Big 12 Conference rival UCF. in ASU's annual Salute to Service game. Levitt keeps the ball, takes off and runs to the left, to the 10, to the 5. Levitt dives for the end zone. Touchdown Devils! A 17-yard run by Sam Levitt. Get your ASU UCF tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but I got Keon Rose in the control room, and I got you guys on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale, we are more than halfway through talking about all the games that happened yesterday, but I think we need to pick up the pace if we're going to make it by 4:30 when the Giants take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But, yeah, we're doing the best we can. You know how it is around here. Beer Bob says, was it just me or is there like an obscenely high amount of safeties this week? I could think of 3 off the top of my head. Is that a record in 1 week? I don't know. Somebody have to check the stats on that. Don't worry about it right now, Keon. We can look it up and talk about it tomorrow. We got stuff to do, Beer Bob. We're going to sort this out. Case the Cook says the Kyler Murray's is and is not. Kyler is not tall. He is short. You is right. Moving on. One more thing about the Chargers game. Nathan Shepard went ahead and had himself a sack, or at least he was trying to sack him. And then he did the gator roll. And then he started twisting his legs. And I mean, that looked like he was trying to hurt the guy. I mean, you can tell me he wasn't. I am not going to believe you. I am not going to believe you, Dennis Allen. Nathan Shepard, if you watch the video, pretty damn obvious that he was trying to hurt Justin Herbert. Now, the only person who saw that and reacted to it was Brad Bozeman. He saw that and he plowed Nathan Shepard, got him on his back and was talking to him. A referee had to separate the two of them. But if more guys had seen that, Nathan Shepard probably would have taken off on a cart because that was dirty.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can tell me, Dennis Allen, that is going to change what I saw. That was dirty.
And we've seen the gator roll before. You only do that to try and inflict injury because the play's over usually when that happens. You've already made the tackle. Now you're on the ground, the play is over, and you're trying to inflict more damage. That's not a football play anymore. If the play's dead, you're just trying to hurt a guy that is 100% dirty. And look, I understand trying to step up for your guy and maybe not throw him under the bus, but dirty's dirty. You don't have to stand there and lie to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, no comment works too, but that's worse. That's bad. All right, let's move on. Oh, I wish Ralph were on the show today. I asked him to be on the show today, but predictably he said no. The Bills destroyed the Seahawks, and now the Bills are 6-2. The Seahawks are not. The Seahawks, what are they?
Seahawks are 4-4.
Huh. Not the top of the NFC West, but I mean they're tied for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean they're 4-4. Cardinals are 4-4.
It's just if you're the Seahawks and you look at the teams that you've played, you do have to scratch your head and wonder why it is that you are just 4-4. You lost a game to the Giants. You lost a game to the injured Niners. It just seems to be. I mean, it's one thing you get pushed around by the Lions. Okay.
Well, they didn't have DK Metcalf, so there's that. So Ralph would immediately be able to say, "Oh, the injuries," he always does.
And I'm not saying that about this Bills game. Like I understand getting beaten up by the Bills a little bit, but when you look at what the Niners have been struggling with and how injured they are. Losing to them doesn't seem like a good loss in hindsight. And of course, that loss to the Giants, who are terrible.
Still don't understand why you don't have Keon Coleman on your fantasy team, but whatever. He had a touchdown. Josh Allen looked good.
Somebody else took him.
You would have, though, right? Just on name alone.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I didn't get the opportunity.
Maybe you should trade for him.
Maybe.
Just saying. Anyway, so the Bills do what they should do. They beat the Seahawks. Moving on. Not a surprise. Not a surprise that it was close. 28-14 is not a blowout. It's not just, whatever. But for the Broncos, that's a big win. Beating anybody is a big win for the Broncos. Broncos beat the Saints last week. They beat the Panthers this week. Everyone should beat the Panthers. Everyone should beat the Panthers, except for the Panthers. Panthers can't beat the Panthers. They don't play the Panthers. That's the only win they probably would get these days.
Though sometimes when you play the Panthers also help you beat the Panthers. So
always happy to help. Oh, that's one thing they're very gracious about. So Bo Nix, 3 touchdowns. Okay. Whatever. I mean, it's nice. My son is a Broncos fan, so it was nice for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Bryce Young is doing any better or not. He threw a couple of interceptions. I know that. But he also threw a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. He did look better for whatever that is worth against a defense that's genuinely great. Bryce Young looked like a better version of Bryce Young than we've seen in a very long time. And maybe just part of the answer to solving the Bryce Young problem for the Panthers might just be taking the time to protect Bryce Young from himself. You can't play yet. We can't protect you. We can't give you a running game. If we want to develop you as a quarterback, and I don't even know if that's the plan for the Panthers anymore, but if we want to develop you as a quarterback, we're going to have to do you a favor and keep you out of the line of fire until you get this thing figured out.
Yep. And now moving on to real football. The Chiefs were able to beat the Raiders, but it wasn't easy for them. I can't tell if it's just the offense of the Chiefs is struggling or if the Raiders just stepped up and did better. I feel like it's probably the first. Kansas City, still undefeated, the only undefeated team in the NFL. Congratulations to Random Texter, because I know he's very happy about this. But, there's a lot of penalties on the Chiefs. I think the offense is still not clicking really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
when I say the offense, I don't mean the receivers. I don't mean Patrick Mahomes. The offense in general, getting 8 penalties for 55 yards. And then, Patrick Mahomes did throw an interception.
And the Raiders were basically like, you guys aren't going to run the ball on us. If you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us throwing the football. And there were opportunities there, but it just wasn't something that consistently hit for the Chiefs over the course of the game. And that kind of allowed the game to be closer than it normally would have been. I thought the Raiders showed up with a pretty good game plan for taking on the Chiefs, a team that they're very familiar with.
Oaktown Destroyer says the Raiders need to fire their offensive coordinator, Getty. Okay.
It's not,
I think they have more problems than just him, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not helping. But the fact is that they're struggling to run the football, which is something that they did really well last year. So you do have to, as a Raiders fan, kind of look back and go, why can't we run the football? Why did we have 33 total yards of rushing in that game? Why is Alexander Madison carrying the ball 14 times for 15 yards? It's just...
Yeah, the Chiefs defense did step up, and they've been pretty solid. That's the only reason this team is undefeated. And when the Raiders can't score on 4 plays from inside the 5-yard line,
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a problem. Gardner Minshew, he did all right. Had a couple touchdowns, but listen, the Chiefs are the juggernaut, and it feels like they're not activating their, offense until they have to, or they're going to be in trouble when this gets serious. The Chiefs have better find their feet and start working that offense. They found Travis Kelce. In that game, and maybe because it was tight end day, they're like, all right, let's give him a little something. But it almost feels like they're playing possum over there. It feels like the offense is doing just barely enough to make sure they win the game.
Yeah.
And they're holding everything else back. I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving them too much credit.
I think that there is something to that, especially when it comes to Kelsey. I think that they want to have a the playoff run, and the way that they've used Kelsey this year, it almost seems like they're trying to keep him fresh, more than it is that they're just targeting him a bunch. Like, no,
Yeah,
like, this
all of a
is
sudden he's got 10 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. All of a sudden, come on.
because they needed it. But outside of when they need it, they're not going to really use him like that. I really believe that.
Sir Drives a Lot says, Raiders. Time to trade Crosby to New York, please. I mean, to Detroit. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. They're never, Mark Davis said they're not doing that. So you can let that go. Hefty Lefty says, Raiders run game looking the Broncos run game from weeks 1 through 4. The Jet says the Raiders are a joke. Mahomes threw an interception in his own red zone, and the Raiders started on the 4-yard line. They went forward, a 4th down, didn't make it. Gave the ball right back to Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that was probably the epitome of the Raiders this year. I think that right there is.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
That's nutshell for the Raiders. Beer Bob says, hey, the Panthers already do have a win. They beat the Raiders. Also not good for the Raiders. The Raiders wish you had not mentioned that. The Raiders would thank you kindly to never mention that again.
Please keep that to yourself from now on.
Jeez.
Signed, the Raiders.
And like that Simpsons meme, he's already dead. Donnie says, Ralph talking a big game on Twitter, mentioning his Lakers and Dodgers, but conveniently quiet about the Seahawks.
Yeah. It's funny because the Lakers and Suns came up on Friday a little bit. And then he was talking about, it doesn't matter. We're Lakers fans. We don't care. Then the Lakers win. All of a sudden, Ralph cares a lot. Like, this is the biggest rivalry in sports. Funny how that works.
Man, we need to win tonight. Suns need to win tonight. My God. I'm more into that game than Monday Night Football.
It'll make seeing Ralph again a little bit more bearable the next time that you come across him. Because the Dodgers, he's already going to be insufferable about the Dodgers. We know that.
Yeah, I just won't care. Don't care. I'm not even paying attention. Don't care. So now the Chiefs finally got a couple of touchdown passes. They didn't have they were the only team without a touchdown pass in October. The only team. So now they got that taken care of. Yeah, that smells fishy to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me with a conspiracy theory, but hey, we got to our last game and we're not even to the 18 break yet.
Hey,
How about that? Sunday Night Football, the 49ers got the win. Brock Purdy looked pretty good, and 30-24. Cowboys, you suck. I mean, sorry. There were so many times the Cowboys should have won that game and did not, could not. They came alive later, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. That is
Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying with the Cowboys, it's never enough on both sides of the ball. Like, that's the frustrating part about them is they seem to be lagging behind any game that they're in on offense and on defense. And I just don't know how you can sustainably compete in football games like that when you've got no running game, no run defense. I know there are injuries there too that are not helping, but they were bad before the injuries.
So Dak Prescott did okay till he didn't. He had 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, also had 2 interceptions. CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns, giving him 42 goddamn fantasy football points. Sorry. And Zeke Elliott having a day like time just went backwards. In 10 carries. Only 34 yards, but a touchdown.
Yeah, the touchdown is the thing that hasn't happened in a while. The 34 yards, that happens very frequently.
Well, in that sequence where he got the touchdown, he didn't look like current Zeke Elliott, did he?
Yeah, that's true. He did look like the throwback a little bit, yeah.
But 49ers looked like they tried to lose and came back and were like, okay, everything's fine. I don't know. Would you say, hey, the 49ers are back, baby? Or would you say, the 49ers survived that game?
I think the 49ers survived the game more than they're back, or maybe they just were the better team in this particular competition rather than they're back. I don't think I feel like they're back. Like you should thump this Cowboys team. It shouldn't even look close. As far as like what we've seen some of the actual top teams in this conference do to the Dallas Cowboys, what the Lions did to the Cowboys. My God, what the Saints did to the Cowboys. Like if you're a good football team in the NFC and you go up against the Cowboys, you should whack them right about now. And the Niners just couldn't.
Yeah, they didn't whack them. They struggled to beat them. But if you look at the Cowboys, is this a problem of talent or is this a problem of coaching?
I think it actually feels more like a problem of talent right now, where when you look at how injured this team is, that is absolutely a problem. Rico Dowdle is your starting running back. He's gone. Micah Parsons, starter, gone. Deron Bland, starter, gone. Brandon Cook, starter, gone. DeMarcus Lawrence, starter, gone. Like those are important players on your football team, and they are all dealing with some form or variety of injury. But then when you add just the fact that when Rico Dowdle was healthy, he wasn't doing that much better than Zeke Elliott. They were still struggling to run the football. Or when Micah Parsons was out there, Micah Parsons was doing his thing as an edge rusher, but when it was time to stop the run, no help in sight. So like there are just certain things with the Cowboys where they have talent that walked out the door, they did not replace it, and then the guys that are there hurt.
One of the other surprises in that game, I turned, I'm like, I've never seen this guy before. I'm sure you know him because you know everybody, Keon, if you watch college football. I'm like, who the hell is Isaac Grinendo? Who is this kid? All of a sudden, there's a kid Jordan Mason gets a little bit dinged up. All of a sudden, this Garindo guy is just running like, whoa, I'm better. It just seemed like he was having a crazy game. He was just like, he gets himself a touchdown and wisely slides down before the end zone when he could have had a touchdown at the end of the game. This kid could have had 2 touchdowns. Also, where'd he come from?
Yeah.
Where is he from? You're having to look him up. Don't act. I see you looking him up. You didn't know who he was either.
No, I mean, I know who he was in terms of like his name. I just didn't realize.
You don't know what school he's from, though, right?
No, he went to Louisville. But
you just looked at it because you just saw that. You just looked that up.
No, he was at Louisville. No, but he wasn't like a big name prospect. I will say like there is a like father like son element to Kyle Shanahan. I remember being a kid and watching the Denver Broncos coached by Mike Shanahan. And there was a string of running backs. They would just plug guys in that you'd never heard of in your entire life. And I remember one day I was watching like a 190-yard rushing performance from Reuben Drones, who I never saw before that game or after that game. There's just something about this Shanahan zone blocking scheme where if you have a running back with a specific skill set where, they're capable of reading the offensive line movement really well, finding that hole, and it's one cut and you're gone. Those guys do really well in this offense. And that's why Isaac was able to find a home here in the same way that Jordan Mason was, because those guys are good at what this offense is asking them to do. I don't know that they'd have the same level of success on another team, but it's okay. They're not on another team. They're on this one.
The Jet says, I'm starting to hate Dallas the same way I hate all the other LA teams. They're on primetime like every damn week. By the way, they suck.
And they're not any good. That's the problem that you're having.
Yep. It's all about the demographics, my friend. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll get caught up on the text line and, I don't know, see what else we can talk about. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is paired right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game in a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Sports betting apps are not created equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade Advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
The time for holiday hosting is upon us, so make your second bathroom second to none with HomeDepot.com's best savings of the season. Right now, enjoy up to 40% off select online bath. Find the latest on-trend styles of vanities, faucets, showers, tubs, toilets, and more, all at prices that will let your budget relax right along with you and your beautifully renovated bath. Get up to 40% off select online bath plus free delivery at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
James Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Fighting Wampus says best of the weekend. New Dwayne Johnson statue outside of the Heat Arena. It was weird they had Dwayne Wade accepting it for him. No, actually, that was supposed to be a statue of Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade helped them develop that. In fact, when he said, "Who is that guy?" It's not that he didn't know who it was. He was saying, "Oh, I can't believe I got a statue." I look at him like, "Oh, wow, who is that guy?" Well, the rest of us were thinking the same damn thing for different reasons. Here is, by the way, I was hoping Randy be here because I was going to say, "Who's this?" He would not be.
If you gave him a million guesses, he wouldn't guess Dwayne Wade.
And if I hadn't read the story, I couldn't guess who the hell this is by this picture.
I saw it on TV earlier today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to guess either.
That statue looks absolutely nothing like Dwayne Wade, except for it has a Miami Heat #3 jersey on it.
It's not as bad as the Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, it's as bad.
But it's close. The Cristiano Ronaldo
like him.
Gave him the goofiest smile, though. Like that one was actually
the teeth on that one was the worst part.
Yeah. This is just a different guy. It's like they attached Udonis Haslam's face to Dwayne Wade's body.
It's just
not even the right person.
They got to redo this. They got to redo this.
They have to. There's no way. There's no way. That is not Dwayne Wade.
Well, how did they even? Here's the thing. They should have never even had the reveal. They should have said, "Dwayne, it doesn't look like you. We got to fix this. We got to push this back. We got to push this back."
Just it's fine. Like he's gonna get the statue. He's one of the most important Heat players in franchise history. He's the Flash. It's okay if you got to wait a few more months to make sure that the guy on the statue actually looks like the guy you're celebrating.
Worst of the weekend was Arizona State University men's basketball team. It was an exhibition game against Duke. It was for charity, but got destroyed. Like, what was it, 100 and something to 50 points, maybe? It was, I can't remember the score. I was so hurt by it. And Bobby Hurley says, well, hats off to where the Blue Devils are, and oh bleep to where we are. That was bad. Preseason, not a real game, but still really, really bad. Oh my God.
It's
so bad.
It's not great. It's not great at all.
That's not reality for this team, is it? We're not going to be that bad, are we?
I don't think so. I really thought they were going to be better. You got, like if you look at the recruiting, they got better. They got talented basketball players.
104-47 NFL blitzer. Thank you.
My Lord, I don't know how you encourage the guys after that, but you need to figure out whatever speech you have, your best one, your most impassionate one. You need to figure out a way to get these guys fired up because that's demoralizing. Mm-hmm. You'll lose a locker room like that.
Maybe he wants to at this point.
I don't know, man.
Hefty Lefty says, you know what? I don't care that it was against the Panthers. Bo Nix showed a little improvement, and he'll take it. He's a little by little looking more like Oregon Bo Nix and not Auburn Bo Nix. And this pleases me. Well, you keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, look, it's nice to have the gimme, but he's got to start doing it against better competition or it's not going to matter.
Ooh. Hey, I was surprised it took this long. Big George, fire Bobby Hurley. Okay. Hefty Lefty says, I think the Suns win tonight, but I'll be content with the Lakers keeping it close, everyone remaining healthy, and Hood Shafino staying on the bench because he is cheeks. Weso Grande says, I just took a look at that statue of Miami's Dwayne Wade. That didn't even look like grandpa. I'd be getting a lawyer. Like I said, he was involved in the process, so he probably thinks, that looks great.
Yeah, and maybe up close it looks different than what the photos say. But
no, Keon, it doesn't.
Just no, from the doesn't. I'm only saying that because how else is he signing off on this?
Probably because he had input on it, realized, ooh, okay, well, too late now. I don't know.
Because
you should have seen the look of his son. His son was like, what the hell is what?
Or maybe Dwayne Wade just sees something different than the rest of us. I don't know anymore. I have no idea.
T. Lisher says Niners were up 27-10 and that game was over, but bitch ass prevent defense is what happened. Random texture says, guys, have you seen the Kobe statue in front of Staples? It didn't look like Kobe.
It looks a whole lot more like Kobe than this looks like Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, hold on here. Well, we may have talked about that. I might agree. Hold on here. Kobe statue.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know.
Well, there's the one with him and his daughter. That's pretty good. And then there's the one where if he's I can't see its face.
That one looks kind of like him.
More, yeah,
I wouldn't say
it's not great.
It's not great, and it's not exactly like him. But it does look kind of like him. The Dwayne Wade one doesn't look anything like D Wade. That looks like a completely different person. To be completely honest.
He's right. Now the Kobe statue, when you zoom in, you see the face. It looks like Devil Kobe. It looks more like Herm Edwards.
But this,
you're right. But that's not that good.
The Dwayne Wade one legitimately just reminds me of Udonis Haslem, who played on the team but is not Dwayne Wade specifically.
No, I agree now. I agree now with Random Texture. The Kobe one is bad, but the Dwayne Wade one is worse. Average Joe says, bigger disappointment so far, Cowboys or the Jets? Gotta be the Jets.
Gotta be the Jets. The Jets thought that they were a Super Bowl caliber team. They are 2-6. It has to be the Jets. The Jets made a trade. The Jets fired their coach. All of these things, I assume, were to make the team better. The team hasn't won a game since either of those things has happened.
Rainy City Bitch Pigeon says, after 2 3-and-outs, the Seahawks had consecutive drives inside the 5 just to give you hope. Then they rip your heart out by snapping the ball over the quarterback's head 20 yards and have Gino's foot stepped on by the right guard on 4th and 1. Stupid hope.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, man. Not sorry. Hefty Lefty says that Chick Hearn statue looks good. Oh, I didn't know they gave him a statue. I've been to the Staples Center. I don't remember seeing a Chick Hearn statue.
I wonder when did that one go up?
You might be trying to be funny about it too. Nope, there he is. Let's see. Yeah, I've met Chick Hearn, and that's a good statue. That is a good statue. I don't know what the deal is. Chief Skull says, I enjoyed the statue compared to Lawrence Fishburne instead of Dwayne Wade. Even that's not right. Random Texter says, Jets thought they were a Super Bowl caliber team this year, and they're not. Dallas always thinks they're a Super Bowl caliber team, and they're not.
Yeah, just the Jets felt like a just add quarterback kind of team. They finally get their quarterback back, and they still suck.
Quarterback back? Yeah. I don't know why that. I did correct me.
It is funny. It's a funny phrase.
Will there be a statue of Jeffrey O'Brien outside of 1580 the Fanatic Studios when I retire? You know that's never going to happen. Enjoy the game.